Gonna mark at 21:10. Mark, 21 minutes 10 seconds that was. Good morning, surf, ski, kayak paddlers. This is Gary again in beautiful Bayona Creek, Los Angeles, looking at the snow-capped San Gabriel Mountains about 80 miles away. And this is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Recent rains and cool weather have sort of kept me away, but this has to do with downward pressure and stroke length and its effect on heart rate, speed, and stroke rate to some extent. And I'm interested primarily in low intensity paddling like I'm doing now, and seeing how these variables are related to each other and why I paddle the way I do, which goes against a lot of advice when I'm doing my easy maximum aerobic function MAF paddling. And for me, that's heart rate at a maximum of about 120 beats per minute. Speed is in kilometers per hour. I think you may be able to see my double stroke rate on my Garmin 945 FTE on paddle shaft, but I can see it. Right now it's 35 double strokes a minute, so we can check that. And of course, this is all being recorded for Garmin Connect and Strava. Okay, equipment, Nello 520, the original surf ski, 520 centimeters long, 52 centimeters wide. It's their shortest and widest and slowest composite surf ski. And that's what I'm paddling, has good stability. The paddle is the Giant-X Baby Gamma with 600 square centimeter blades. And I'm paddling it at a total paddle length of 200 centimeters. So, this is what we're going to do here. I'm going to look at two different types of strokes primarily. One I'm calling patient and long, which has no or minimal downward pressure at the catch. So it's patient. I'll wait till it's completely in and then pull it back and out. Basically let the blade go where it wants to go. And I don't worry about pulling it out. I just let it bring it back pretty far like I'm doing now. And the more typically recommended stroke, which has downward pressure and is much shorter. You start thinking about taking the blade out around the knees and get it out before the hips. Lots of downward pressure, putting weight on the blade and keeping it short. So I'm going to call that quick and short. So what I'm going to do here is first turn around, because I'm at the upper navigable limits of beautiful Bayona Creek. I'm going to get then paddle the patient and long. I also call this my cruising stroke at 120 heart rate, and then compare that with the other stroke, the quick and short, and vary. So there's a little bit of a head breeze here. Okay, so already I got to bring my paddling intensity down. I'm at 132. Actually, I want to change this so I just see heart rate and speed. Okay, in kilometers per hour. Okay, so when it gets down to 120, I'm going to hit the lap button, and then we'll record the speed, stroke rate at that, using the, what I call the patient and long stroke that I'm doing now. For some reason, the heart rate is a little higher than I would expect it to be. Okay, 125. Come on down. I should take the water out here while I'm doing this. I might have to opt for a higher. Come on. Get the water out. Bring it down. There's the water. Again, not again, but I'm doing everything you should do for such a stroke with a wing blade. Getting it, trying to get good rotation, moving forward, not pushing or pulling with the arms, rotating, getting the blade really close to the boat. I got this thing stuck in the way here. But no downward pressure or little, and the stroke is really quite long. Okay, it's 121. I'm gonna go with that. A bit of a headwind. I think I'm going with the current. I should be going out toward the sea. Come on, get down to 120. I think I'm going to go with 122, 123. Okay. So, 3, 2, 1, mark. So, this will be lap 2. Unless I hit it twice. Okay, 125, 123 at 10.5 kilometers an hour. Now I'm going to keep it around 123, even though that's above. And you can see very little downward pressure. Very nice, patient, long strokes. And even today, even using this, the stroke rate is only 26 double strokes a minute. Okay, well, we'll go with that. 122 at 10.4 kilometers an hour. And I do feel I'm applying pressure to the blade all the way into well negative angle. Well beyond my hips. 122, 10.1. 125, 10.0. I don't know why the heart rate doesn't want to come down today. You may have to do this all over again. I'm suspecting I will. But we'll see. There's 121, 10.3. 120, hey, 10.4. Okay. Try to keep it down there. And stroke rate now is 28 double strokes per minute. You may be able to see that. Okay, I'm going to stop this. 3, 2, 1, mark. That was lap 2. Now what I'm going to do is move into a more typical, this is going to be the quick and short. And when I get it, 32. Stroke rate is going up. It's hard not to prevent that. So when I sort of feel comfortable or stable in this, speed is up to 12 kilometers an hour. Heart rate is 132. So let me this should be lap 4, quick and short. And this is sort of how I would paddle if I were paddling, quick and short. I think you can see the pedals coming out sooner. Trying to keep my hand fairly high, top hand. 134, 135, well above my MAF. 11.7 kilometers per hour. You can actually see I'm putting some weight on. You can see the boat leaning to my drive side. $138, 12.3. Okay, gonna stop that. 3, 2, 1, mark. That should have been lap 4. Now this would be a transition lap 5. And what I'm gonna do now is try to paddle quick and short and get my heart rate down to 120, 122. Let's see what happens here. Now I'm still at 136. There's no way, paddling as it was just before, that I can do this within my MAF. I'm still at 131. Only way is to really take long pauses between strokes. Still at 131. Come on. I'm gonna have to really stretch it out. 130, 8.4 kilometers an hour, 129. Now this is would be a good drill for balance if I had a tippy boat, or if I were paddling in tippy conditions. It's not a way I'd want to paddle for very long. Still at 125, down to 8. Try to get it down to 120, and then I'll put a new lap on. Okay, there's 123, 122, 3, 2, 1, mark. So this would be lap 6. 121 at 8.9 kilometers per hour. Stroke rate is down to 23 double strokes a minute, although the stroke rate counter doesn't like these pauses. It does weird things. I'm at 121, 8.2 kilometers an hour. Stroke rate is 26 double strokes a minute. And if I recall, this is going to be quite a bit slower than my patient and long cruising stroke. But if I want to do MIF, I can do this drill, but I really can't do a normal quick and short paddle. I'm at 120, 118. Okay, got a little bit too low. Will be real easy to bring up. A little bit of oomph. Okay, I'm at 129.3. And just for comparison, so I'm averaging around around 9, 119, 8.4, and it goes 8.7. We'll see again on Connect. So So I'm going to stop that. 3, 2, 1, mark. So that was lap 6. So this would be 7. Another transition. Odds will tend to be transitions. And what I'm going to do now is go back to the patient and long. Actually, I'm there already. I'm going to 1, 2, 3 mark. So this would be lap 8. Now I'm getting more wind, but I want to keep my heart rate about 122 or so. I'm at 119, 10.2. And the wind is picking up, so that's sort of screwing things up a little bit. But already I'm paddling faster. I'm getting more speed with less effort using my patient and long cruising stroke. 122.99. 122.97. I don't think I got over 9 using the more orthodox quick and short stroke at this heart rate. 121.98. I think this is my 28. A really slow stroke rate today to get my heart rate down. It's interesting. 120 heart rate, 9.8. Stroke rate only 26. Wow. Well, the wind could have something to do with that. Okay, so that's the back end. 123.95, 10.3 kilometers an hour. Okay. 3, 2, 1. That was lap 8. So this will be lap 9 until the transition. I'm going to turn around so I can counterbalance the effect of wind and current and just do some more cruising. So we'll see what happens. Oh, look at the mountains. Beautiful. Covered in snow. Wow. I haven't seen that much snow, I think. Really looks like it's coming down to really low altitude, 3,000 feet maybe. The big mountain there is 10,000 feet tall, not Baldy. Okay, let me get rid of some of the water in this transition. Okay, I'm at 122, so I'm going to start 3, 2, 1, mark. So this would be lap 10. And again, this is the patient and long stroke. Sometimes I refer to it as the stroke for the rest of us, not elite paddlers or sprinters or downwind surf ski champions. .123 at 7. What? No, 7.8. So the current seems to have more of an effect than the wind. 121 at 7.9. So the other way is faster. 122, 8.2 kilometers an hour. Pretty slow. Stroke rate 29 double strokes per minute. Which I think you can see. If you can't see that, you can freeze the video. Stop the video when my right hand is up. Hopefully it's tilted up enough for the camera to see. Okay, so I think I'm going to close this lap. like to hit the boat once in a while. I have protection there just to make sure I'm getting as close as I can. Okay. Oh, it's gone up to 125 when I started enjoying myself. 8 kilometers an hour. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Mark. That was lap 10. I'm now lap 11, which will be my conclusion. I'll turn around again and head out toward the ocean. And I think you can see that for me to be able to paddle within my MAF, maximum aerobic function, which typically is 180 minus your age. I'll be 70 in another 2 months or so. That would be 110 for me. I've added 10 to that because I've already been active and I'm thankfully in very good health. So I'm using 120. For me to stay within, or at least close to 120, if I start putting any downward pressure on the blade, my heart rate goes quickly well above if I'm paddling at any type of a reasonable stroke rate. So what I would have to do would be to, as I demonstrated, is really add long pauses, all right, to be able to put some downward pressure and keep the stroke short, which turns it more into a drill than paddling. So I hope that provides some rationale for why I paddle the way I do for probably 90%, if not more, of my paddling, because it's a fun stroke, it's a relaxing stroke. I can put my heart rate exactly where I want it, and all of the terrible things that are supposed to happen if you go past negative angle and don't use downward force don't happen to me. And those terrible things are instability. Now again, this is a stable boat, but I've tried it as well with 5 or 6 seat pads. I still find no effect on stability, even with a boat feeling like a V10 or a Zello 550 when I go way past negative. Long strokes don't cause a problem, and they don't slow me down. I can apply pressure. In fact, I'm starting to think that negative angle close to vertical may actually be more effective than positive angle close to vertical. Now I'd say far from vertical, but anyway, that's something that I've tested out a little bit, and I'll come back with another one. Now, I'm not putting down the orthodox, the usually recommended wing paddle stroke, which involves downward pressure and short, because that gets your cadence up. The downward pressure certainly makes good use of the paddle being in the water. And I pop right up to 130, 11.8 kilometers into the wind. So if I'm trying to catch a wave downwind and I'm trying to sprint for a bit of a workout, some high intensity intervals, catch a boat wake, I'm going to use that. You have to. So that's a great stroke, and there's a reason why it's taught, but I don't think it's the stroke you should begin most paddlers with. I mean, one philosophy is get paddlers introduced to what elite paddlers do, and then modify that as necessary for their paddling. And that modification may involve less downward pressure, as I have longer strokes, maybe lower top arm, like this as well. But that's a traditional method, if you will, starts with the sprinter's stroke, the quick and short. I think in many cases, if not most, it makes more sense to start beginners with the patient and long stroke, and then modify that as the paddler desires and wants to be able to go faster and sprint and catch boat wakes and downwind waves, etc. So that's how I'm thinking about this currently. I want to do both. I want to have both my cruise and stroke, patient and long, for most of my paddling, as I'm doing now. And then I want to be able to catch waves and maybe do some racing again, which would involve the quick and short at a much higher intensity. So it's all good. The wing paddle, I'm amazed. It's turned out to be an amazingly versatile paddle. Much more so than I thought when I first used it. Actually, let me add to that beginning instruction. When I first started paddling surf ski about 6 years ago, and I would look up all of the advice I could on YouTube and other places, and it's all really high top hand, downward pressure, short, don't go too long. It's like a pole vault. You got to push your weight down and fall forward. And I found that both counterintuitive and somewhat unappealing. So it was a bit of a turnoff. I said, maybe this sport isn't for me, because I like follow through, longer distance with techniques that are perhaps more sustainable. So maybe teaching the way we do as a default might turn some people off. The wing blade is so hard to use, you got to do this and that, but it really isn't. At least not the ones I've used, Epic and the Jantex and the Niceness. So I think that's it. I think you can hear the wind that I've been paddling against there, picking up as I get to the mouth of Bayona Creek, and hopefully my video is still running. This is the last day of 2021. Feels like it began 5 years ago, doesn't it? Yeah. Hopefully 2022 is a lot better. We get more back to normal. People get out on the water, get together with friends and family again. So all the best for the new year from Gary and the California Center for Research and Advanced Paddling, as I cross Marina Bay with the mountains in the background with another Kayak video. Take care.